I'm Robert Lee, and did you know West Virginia has one of the worst drug problems in the nation? Coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you why one teen has no problem putting other lives at risk. Since there are no federal laws protecting LGBT employees, nearly 23% of them remain closeted due to fears of not being offered a promotion from their job. Nearly 10% of drivers are under the age of 21, but yet they're responsible for nearly 17% of DUI-related crashes that can cause the damage that you see here. Did you know 1 in 50 people will fall victim to a violent crime? I'm Robert Lee, and I'll tell you some ways to protect yourself. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now. Of the crimes occurring on campus, over 80% are committed by students. If you find yourself in a situation where you need police assistance, there are over 30 blue emergency poles, just like this one, located all around campus. Prescription drug abuse has become such an epidemic that the amount of deaths occurring each year now surpass both motor vehicle accidents and firearms. A student trying to earn their wings can spend up to 3 weeks training on a flight simulator. The main objective is to provide a safe and effective training method that improves the pilot's overall performance. I'm Robert Lee, and did you know 1 in 10 LGBT employees will leave their job due to not feeling welcomed? Coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you how they plan to deal with this conflict. A drug abuse epidemic is present in West Virginia, and according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, approximately 1 in 6 high school seniors will drive under the influence of drugs. This can increase the chance of an accident by nearly 50%. But this high schooler says those odds won't stop him.
I've been smoking for about 11 months now, and I've been driving since I've turned 16. So I know how the drugs affect me, in the ways they do.
Unfortunately, many teenagers think it's okay to drive after using drugs. But Chief Deputy Perry Palmer says this can end up being a costly mistake.
It leads into where they need a lawyer, where they can be sent with court costs and fines, and it could get very, very expensive.
Nearly 10% of drivers are under the age of 21, but yet they're responsible for nearly 17% of DUI-related crashes that can cause the damage that you see here. And this mom says reducing starts from the home.
If a parent stepped in and not turned a blind eye, it would help immensely. Or if parents, seeing their child was going out under the influence, drive them somewhere. You could be saving theirs and other people's lives.
Each drug can affect a person differently, but they all can impair someone's ability to drive. Nearly 4 months ago, the LGBT population won marriage equality, but workplace protections for LGBT employees still remains an issue. Only 19 states have implemented workplace protections based on sexual orientation, and West Virginia isn't among them.
As a result of, a Supreme Court ruling that now allows for marriage equality, to, going into work tomorrow thinking that nothing really has changed, and yet finding that just because I'm now identified in a same-sex relationship that's grounds to fire me.
A report done by UCLA Williams Institute shows that an LGBT employee will earn significantly less than an equally qualified heterosexual.
This is a constitutional issue. The reality that people are not being given equal opportunity in employment is unacceptable in 2015.
Since there are no federal laws protecting LGBT employees, nearly 23% of them remain closeted due to fears of not being offered a promotion from their job. Though the rights of the LGBT community have increased in some states, some feel there's still some more work to be done.
We need to amend the Human Rights Act in West Virginia to protect both sexual orientation and gender identity from discrimination in the workplace, in housing, and in public accommodations. It's not only that we have to change the laws, but we also have to change the culture.
As of right now, there are 4 cities in West Virginia that have complied with the non-discrimination federal laws. Robert Lee, WVU News, Morgantown. In the last month, there have been 3 people stabbed on High Street, an armed robbery at CVS, an attempted abduction, and a sexual assault. On average, more than 4,000 aggravated assaults occur each year in West Virginia. University Police Chief Bob Roberts says there are ways to help protect yourself from falling victim.
When physical altercations tend to get started, it deals with people's voices raising. You should leave and get out of the way. Don't put yourself in harm's way is what we really try to tell people.
Of the crimes occurring on campus, over 80% are committed by students. If you find yourself in a situation where you need police assistance, there are over 30 blue emergency poles, just like this one, located all around campus. But what do you do if you're not near one of these blue poles? WVU senior Alexandria Zabolis, who's afraid to walk at night, will drive her car halfway to class just to shorten the walking distance.
Being female, it's made me nervous to be by myself. I mean, I have pepper spray, and I always walk with like my keys in my hand, and I really don't feel safe walking by myself. And with Zabolis being one of 46% of WVU's female population, Chief Roberts says the best thing to do if you're going to walk during the night is to walk in pairs.
Reporter Robert Lee joins us now in the studio to tell us what you can do to keep yourself safe. Robert?
Thanks, Emily and Paige. West Virginia University has reported over 140 violent crimes in the past 3 years alone. And the biggest target? Women. Specifically, female college students between the ages of 18 to 25 are 3 times more likely to become a victim of assault. The majority of these attacks are happening at night. I learned about the importance of safety while walking alone after dark. If you would like to learn more tips to keep yourself safe when walking alone, you can visit the website on the bottom of your screen.
Reporter Robert Lee joins us now in the studio to explain the dangers of driving while under the influence of drugs. Robert?
Thanks, Emily and Paige. A recent national survey shows that vehicle accidents are the #1 cause of death among young adults, and substance-impaired driving is one of the main culprits. I got a chance to speak to one young adult who chooses to drive under the influence. A study conducted by the National Institute on Drug Abuse showed that over 10% of fatal car crashes involved a driver who was on drugs, and almost 20% of people killed in accidents had drugs in their system.